Hi, welcome to the third and final part of this electromagnetism series. If you have not watched the other two videos, please stop now and go watch the first part and the second part because you need that information to understand what's going on in this video. In today's video, we are going to be looking at how the Earth is one big giant magnet, and we shall be using that to create a compass so that you can find where the north is, and when you use that, then you can find out which direction that you should go. And the Earth as a big magnet has been guiding explorers, aviators, and all sorts of people to find their way around the Earth. So I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope that you'll be able to make your very first compass yourself. Enjoy. So what moved to the next stage, where we shall be looking at the Earth, and then we shall wrap up, right? What is the shape of the Earth?
Circular.
Circular, but...
I thought it was a circle.
Yes, that's the same thing. Circular means like a circle. But it's a circle that's in 2 dimensions. What's the shape of the Earth in 3 dimensions? Okay. What's that shape called?
3 circles in 2 dimensions?
Yeah, it's like a ball. What's that shape called?
A ball.
Because a circle is flat, right? A circle is flat, but a globe, yes. A globe or a sphere. All right. Did you guys know that the Earth is one big magnet?
No. How?
So the Earth, you know, they have the continents and the countries, but when you go inside the Earth, there is something in the middle.
What's
right?
that? A magnet?
It's not a magnet, it's called the core. The core. So the core of the Earth is actually molten metal. Right? Meaning that if you get like iron and nickel and all these metals and melt them, that's what's at the core of the Earth. And so that the movement of that core generates a magnetic field, right?
For everything.
So
For the entire Earth.
what's the middle of the Earth?
It's called the core. Yeah.
Where can we find the core?
You'd have to dig really, really deep, and no one has ever gone that far. Did you know that the deepest part, if you look at like the crust where we live, is like a very thin layer just on the surface. And when we go deep, we don't even reach near here. There's so much that we haven't yet seen in the core of the Earth. So the Earth is so deep, but inside here is the core. And this core generates a magnetic field, which makes the Earth one big magnet, with the south at the top and the north at the bottom.
Why? I thought north was up.
So the North Pole is up. So this is where the issue is, right? This is where a bit of confusion is. This is the North Pole. So the reason this is the North Pole, right? Even though the magnetic north, even though it's magnetically the south, the north side is attracted to the south side, which is at the top.
But they're not and not and not.
Yes, they don't go together, yeah.
Because
So when you're using a compass, which looks like this generally, it's an arrow that points north, then there are signs north, east, south, west.
So we have made
Right.
the compass.
No,
Yeah.
no. When you're using a compass, the north pole of the compass, the north pole is the magnetic
Could you
south.
make it more understanding?
All right. So, future Solomon here to add some additional information. So, if you imagine that the Earth is one big sphere or a globe, and in the center here is the core of the Earth, right? So, in the core of this Earth, a magnetic field is being generated by the ball of molten metal, of iron and nickel and all that. And the way that this field is being generated is that it's creating a south pole at the top. This is a south magnetic pole. And at the bottom here, it's creating a north magnetic pole. Now, if we imagine that this is our Earth's magnet, we would basically just put it like that. So the Earth is generating a magnetic field that has a south at the top, south magnetic pole at the top, and a north magnetic pole at the bottom. So if we look at a compass like this, right, you'll see that the north marked with a red arrow is actually that side. So what the compass is pointing towards is called the North Pole. And that is because, that's pole, and that is because the north side of the compass magnet is attracted to the south side of the Earth's magnet. So that means that when we have the south magnetic pole here, this becomes the geographic north, which is what we call the North Pole. Geographic, if you've studied SST or geography in primary or secondary school, it's basically the study of the earth, the terrain, mountains, maps, countries, etc. And so that is the north for that entire system, the system of navigation that we use in geography, all right? So the north, geographic north is what we call the North Pole, but it is actually the south magnetic pole. And it's called the North Pole because on a compass, the magnet north points towards the North Pole because it's attracted to the South Pole of the Earth's magnetic field. So at the top of the Earth, we have the geographic north, also called the North Pole. And at the bottom of the Earth, we have the geographic south, also called the South Pole. Everyone grab a thread and a magnet. Careful, oh my God. Everyone grab a thread and a magnet.
Yes.
Thank you. So what I want you to do
Okay.
is
How
to
to tie
tie
this down.
in the middle of this.
Okay.
Tie it tight, and then you have to make sure that it balances. So this is a compass.
Where
I
is
hope,
it?
I hope it's calibrated, but it's saying that the north is that side. So if you lift your magnet,
Like this?
yeah,
Inside?
yeah,
that?
like that.
Yes.
So if you lift your magnet and hold it very still, it should ideally settle.
Mine is over like
Why are
this.
they overturning around?
So you see how's this? So the more you shake, the more
I'm trying
it.
not to shake.
But you're touching it and moving it, and
I'm trying.
But look at mine.
How
Oh.
comes mine is pointing this end?
Mine is upside down. I don't know why.
it will. It will take time. You have to be really patient. Normally they do this like you attach it to something like that, and then just release it like that stick there,
Hi.
and then just release it,
I can't.
and then after like a few minutes,
Like.
you'll
like
see that it
this.
settles in the north south.
It will
If-
point its own.
If we
It's
leave,
pointing and then it goes.
yeah, so that's because there's a lot of shaking and wind and all that. But at the end of the day, if you leave it long enough, it will actually settle. They'll all settle in the
It has
same
settled.
direction.
My hand is.
Yes, it is.
So as you noticed, the video for the kids didn't work well because we didn't have a stand. So I want to just demonstrate what it's like with a stand. So when you have your magnet, you tie a string to the magnet right in the middle. Make sure it balances really, really well. It has to be level, meaning that it's not like that or like that. It's just perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
And then you get your stand or something. The goal is basically for you to release this and it spins on its own until it finds the north. So I'm just going to put this here and release it. You have to give it time to settle. So now it has stabilized. Now we see the red side, which is the north side, pointing that way, meaning that the north of the earth is that side. We can compare with a compass. If you zoom into the compass here, really tiny, but you can see that the compass is also pointing to the north. Also using the compass on our phone, we can see that it's pointing in the same north direction as our handmade compass. So this will help because if we just put this here
Move this.
and put it in the center, and then make sure it's not touching the edges of the bow, and then you will see how it settles. Let's see if we can, let's put in a different direction and then watch it settle towards the north. So you see it's spinning, it's actually being attracted to the north, and you can see it has settled really, really well. And if you remember from our compass, our north side is generally in that direction. So if you look at the two of them, north, northeast, here. So north, north, generally pointing the same direction. So once you know where north and south is, you can find where east, west, northeast, etc. is, and you can use that to navigate. And that is how you make a simple compass. All right, so the last thing we'll do is, where do you think magnets are found?
Me?
In shops.
Not where you buy them from.
Underground?
Yes, you can find magnets underground in the earth, the natural magnets, but in the things that we use, where do you think they're found?
Sets. Geometry. Fridges.
Fridges. What are they used? Where are they found in geometry sets?
I'm trying to make some.
They are there on doors.
They're on some doors, yes, the magnetic doors. But
Some
motors,
Look.
motors have magnets. They help with one of those motors. Every single speaker has a magnet, a loudspeaker. So
Not
that's
a
that's a
microphone.
that's a microphone. Yes, not a speaker.
Me, I have a microphone. but
So
I left it
you know those cylindrical magnets we had, the ones that were really hard, all of those are from speakers. So what gives you sound is actually magnet interacting with electricity. So there's a magnet here in this motor. And that magnet is what enables the motor to rotate. Does this work?
Maybe it doesn't.
I think the motor doesn't work.
Try this one, but it has no.
Maybe it
Oh,
needs
it
enough
works,
energy.
yeah. So it needed more energy, yes. So you see it's working. So it's actually rotating. Now what it looks like on the inside is something like this, right? So, oops. I don't know if, okay, I'm not able to remove this. Those are the permanent magnets. If you remember what permanent magnets are, those are the permanent magnets. And when you look inside here, you'll see wire around a piece of metal. The green thing shows you where the metal is. So the wire is actually creating an electromagnet. When you connect these batteries like this, you create an electromagnet inside this that interacts with a permanent magnet. And because they push each other like this, so it creates a south and a south, and they keep pushing each other. So this thing rotates using the electromagnet, and once you connect electricity, it is repelled or pushed away by the permanent magnet. So this is designed in such a way that it's constantly being pushed away, and then it's constantly being pushed, and then that's what creates the rotary motion. So that's an example of how magnets are used in the real world. So you remember how the magnet was as if floating on top of the other?
Yes.
So there are trains that work like that. So the entire train is on one big magnet,
Oh, yes.
and then it sits on it, and then when you apply an electrical force, it pushes the train forward. And if you do it with enough energy, the train moves at a very high speed, right? So that's how they call it magnetic levitation, which is floating something using a magnet. So I really hope you've enjoyed this series on magnetism. I hope that you've learned the different types of magnets, maybe a little bit about the history of magnetism, how magnets are made, how to make an electromagnet, and I hope you've learned how to make a compass. Please go back and watch all the other videos on our channel. Please remember to subscribe, click the notification button so that you know when the videos will be popping out, and I hope that it will be a great learning experience for you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Please subscribe to the Foodie Wars channel, and I'll be soon on TikTok, so please like to my videos.
Bye. Thanks everyone. See you next time. Bye.